do this exercise. Okay, so this is how you calculate how much property taxes you would pay if you lived in this house. So let's say the house that you bought is literally $479,900. Okay, so that's the house that you are paying every month. I mean, obviously not that much, but in monthly installments, right? $479,900 times, remember, we're going to have a 1.37 tax rate for Cypher ISD. So how to calculate that is you multiply by 0.0137. So every year, you, as a taxpayer, are paying $6,574.63 to Cypher ISD. As long as your house doesn't increase in value, then that value won't increase. Now, if your house decreases in value, then you will be paying less. So you've got $6,500 about that you give to the district. That's a lot of money every year just from you alone if you live in this house. Now let's go to another house in the district, and let's say I'm going to put a maximum price of like $200,000. Okay. So there are houses that are $200,000 or less in 77065. But I'm going to look for a house actually less than $100,000. Let's just make it even less than $100,000. Okay. $95,000. So, there's none in this area. Very interesting. There are no houses under $100,000 in 77065. Ooh, very interesting. So let's do 200 then. There should be some 200, less than 200. 150. 150. Let's see how low we can go here. Okay, 140, 139,000. All right, so there are some homes. 120,000. Let's say you lived in this house. $120,000. Okay, let's go to the tax rate. It's still going to be in any part of Cypher ISD, you're paying always the same tax rate, 1.37. This total tax rate for this particular area and house is 2.4, so it's slightly higher actually from the $400,000 house. I think that's interesting. So let's calculate this. This house is $120,000, right? And then 0.0137. Are you going to pay more or less school taxes on this house? Hopefully you guys said less. Okay? The cheaper the house, right, the less taxes you pay. So how much was the other house? You were paying $6,500 a year. This was $1,600 a year. That's a huge difference, isn't it? Now, I don't know if you're catching what I'm trying to do here. Okay? So, let's see, 120,000 times 0.024. This is the total tax rate you would pay for the entire property. So $2,800, almost $2,900 is what you pay for this house. Now, the $479,000 house, let's do that again. $479,900, right? The tax rate was about 0.023, 2.3. Oh, man alive, I miscalculated something here. Hold on. 479,900 times 0.023. Okay, so total taxes that you pay for this house every year is $11,000, and that's a lot of money. $400,000 house. A lot of money. So that means not only are you paying your monthly mortgage rate, but then you're adding about almost $1,000 extra each month for taxes. Taxes are massive and high. Property taxes are here in the state of Texas. Now, let's look at a tax rate in the vicinity of where Lone Star College Cy-Fair is located. Okay, because the zip code is 77433. Now look at this, 100 and, oh, sorry, I'm not gonna do a max on this one. I'm gonna just no max price. Let's see how much houses are in this area. $2 million, man alive. That's a lot of money. 2.5 million there. Wow, $1.9 million right there. 1.545. So we've got some massive, beautiful homes in this area. Let's see what the tax rate is for this $1.2 million house, which looks like a beautiful home. Okay. The tax rate in this area is a 3.1. Wow, that's pretty high. So the house is already how much is it? 1.2. Okay, let's calculate this. 1,204,302, right? Times 0.0137, which is the Cy-Fair tax rate. So for this house, you had to pay almost $17,000 a year just on taxes for the district. That's only for the district. Okay, so if you lived in a house like this, how much taxes are you paying a year? Times 0.031. $38,000 a year just on taxes. That is like a nice car. The amount of a nice car. Okay, so you can see here, the higher the amount the house costs, the higher amount of money the district gets. Do you see what's going on over here, guys? With funding and schools. So if you have a district that has a whole bunch of houses that are about $100,000 and they're only paying a 1.37 tax rate, then they're only giving that district about $1,000 per house. But if you got a district that has a whole bunch of $1 million homes, then they're getting almost $40,000 a year per house. What is the problem with this funding formula for the districts in Texas? The schools that are surrounded by rich neighborhoods get more money, and the schools surrounded by the poor neighborhoods get very little money. Is that equitable? No. The simple, easy answer, guys, is no. It is not an equitable way of financing a school. And in this part of the chapter, the challenge of equitable funding. It is a huge challenge. In fact, our state, guys, tried to revise the funding formula for schools, and some schools that are in poor districts, okay, low income home districts, they are deemed Title I schools, and Title I schools actually get more money from the federal government. Okay, so you can see here that the federal government doesn't give us very much money. The state does, and so does the local governing structure, districts and property. They provide a significant amount of money. And in the state of Texas, guys, believe it or not, the price of oil also dictates how much money they're giving the schools. Okay, because we're in a state that really is heavily dependent on the oil industry. We are also, as the school systems, dependent on how the oil industry is positive or negatively affecting the economy in the state of Texas. So isn't it interesting, guys, how equity, unfortunately, is a very big challenge across our state, but it's also a challenge across the entire nation, because this type of funding is very similar across the entire nation. I already talked about property taxes and showed you how that is calculated. So here's another chart here on the revenues. Remember, that's money that a school makes to fund their entities and to fund their budgets, okay, to fund all the necessities that the students have. And interestingly enough, these ways of funding